Hi everyone. I'd like to read another piece from Idries Shah Remembered, which I edited. This piece is by an old family friend called David Wade, and I've called it The Treasure of Sierra Madre. One of the most remarkable things about Idries Shah was how he took things and explained them in a way that could be grasped perfectly by his audience. I once asked him if he could summarize the human condition as he had been talking about the idea of it. Looking at me without any expression at all, he answered, "The treasure of Sierra Madre." "You mean the film with Bogart?" "Yes." I struggled to remember the plot. Wasn't it a case of three down on their luck rotters heading for the mountains in search of gold and duping each other? I said. Shah nodded. Yes, three of the most self-centered, greedy, down on their luck rotters, he corrected. I asked what he himself saw in the film. Shah said, "It's a mirror held up to the human condition. The three gold prospectors are so self-absorbed that they can't see any way of change. They have had every chance to improve themselves, to allow the dissolution of the ego, but instead they take another path, one of selfishness rather than selflessness." I probed. "Exactly," answered Shah. "You've read Sufi teaching stories, and you've seen how the same elements continually come into play. At one point, Bogart's character warns the others of the lust for gold, but ultimately they all fall victim to it." Shah paused to collect his thoughts. "There's something I've always watched out for in people and situations," he said. I asked what it was. "The state of mind in which the situation is in control," Shah said, "rather than the situation in which you are in control. It's something I see here every hour of the day. People in the West are controlled by the situations in which they found themselves. And of course, the situations develop with a dynamism of their own, essentially forcing the people involved out of the equation. After a point, there's no way they can ever get back into the driving seat." Not long after my conversation with Shah about the treasure of Sierra Madre, I was in central London near the BBC where I was doing some work. By chance, I spotted Shah walking down the other side of the street. He was wearing a reporter-style raincoat and was making notes on a little jotting pad as he moved. All of a sudden, he stopped dead in his tracks, turned on his heel and walked back to the previous intersection. There, just within eyesight, he exchanged a few words with a homeless man before shaking his hand, turning around and proceeding on his way. Part of me thought of going over to Shah and greeting him, but as I reflected just then, it would have been done to gain attention, and after all, Shah was busy making notes, not to mention en route somewhere with a purpose. So I didn't go up to him, but instead I crossed the road, and rather than heading right in the direction of Shah, I headed left in the direction of the homeless man instead. As I approached him, I rehearsed what I'd say. A moment later, he was before me, palm cupped as though in need of change. I gave him 50 pence, and almost as an afterthought, I said, "I just saw a gentleman stop here, a minute ago. He shook your hand." The homeless man shrugged. "Yeah, you mean Syed Idries?" I was taken aback. "You know his name?" The homeless man shrugged again. "Yeah, we've been friends for years," he said. "Have you really?" "Yes." "Do you know anything about him?" I asked. My curiosity really piqued. "Yeah, I know all about him." "That he's a writer," I coaxed. "Yeah, that he's a writer and a Sufi and a man who gives far more than he takes." The homeless man weighed my 50 pence on his palm. Apologetically, I fished out some more coins and passed them over. "Syed Idries lives as though nothing belongs to him," the man said, "so he can give as though everything does."